How is paediatric MS diagnosed, and are there differences in how this is treated than in adults for children?
So I think the same as the first question. I think we know that paediatric MS is really similar to adult MS in the signs and symptoms. So, you know, optic neuritis or anything that really affects the central nervous system, any symptoms that will be displayed, so whether it's your vision or whether it's loss of function and movement. And really the same goes for it. Because of that, we diagnose it the same route as we do with adults.
Right, okay.
So something called the McDonald criteria, and it was updated last year, McDonald 2017 criteria. So we base it off that. So it's exactly the same. What we're looking for is with MS that the damage is disseminated in time and space. So that means we've got proof that there's damage in different dates and in different areas of the central nervous system as well. So we diagnose it the same.